Hi, everyone. Kate here. Thanks to everyone for joining. Today, I figured I would share with you guys Nick and I's story, like how we met, basically how we got to where we are now. It's kind of interesting, I think. And just interacting with you guys. I appreciate everyone that subscribes and joins in and wants to hear more. It's fun to do. So I guess I'll just get right into it. Yeah, that picture I asked my husband to make me one of those little pictures for the live streams. And we got engagement pictures done last year. And so that was when we had our other dog, Ani, with us. So we got those pictures. And it's literally like one of the most perfect pictures ever because my dog Leo is like a model. Like we used to always get Christmas pictures done in the mall with Santa. They would do this thing where you could bring your pets. And every year I would make Nick, I'm like, we have to do it. Make sure you're off. I'll make sure I'm off. Like we always go. And every year it'd be like our Christmas photo. So I make him dress up nice. I dress up nice because I already knew Leo was going to just look perfect. So maybe around Christmas we'll share those photos because they really are good photos of my Goldens. They're like, oh my God, your dog's a model. He does his own thing. We just provide the photographer, really. So he's perfect. But so for those of you guys that don't know, Nick and I have been together for this past May, be 8 years. We met when I was in high school still. So in 2013, I was in high school. And Nick graduated in, I think, 2010. So he's actually a little bit ahead of me. We didn't know each other in high school. We didn't go to the same high school, anything like that. And we met with like a mutual friend. So he was at his friend and I was at my friend's, and we met at that person's house. And I really wasn't looking for anyone. I didn't really notice him, acknowledge him. I actually fell asleep on the couch and whatever. But the next day, me and my friend were leaving, and he was trying to get my number, and I'm like, no, I'm okay. I just wasn't interested, not really. And he kept bothering me at the car window, can I have your number? Can I have your number? And I'm like, this was back when Facebook wasn't really that popular yet, but it was Facebook was popular, but people that were 18 didn't really use it. So I'm like, if you can find me on Facebook, he didn't really know my name, you can ask me my number there and I'll give it to you. Basically, if you put a little work in, I'll give it to you. Why not? So I get home, and the next day I have this message from this guy and asking for my number, and it's like, damn, now I gotta go give it to him. So I give him my number, and he's messaging me, and he's reaching out to me, and he wants to take me on a date. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. I'm 18. What's a free meal? I went on dates all the time then because I wasn't really looking for a boyfriend. I'm, just hanging out with my bestie, chilling, getting ready to graduate high school. I was planning on going to college, out of state at the time. So that day that I met him, I actually just got back from a college visit at West Virginia University, which I ended up not going to because it was insanely expensive for what I wanted to do, which was psychology. I'm not paying that much money to go to get a psychology degree, but anyway, I hadn't known that at the time, so I'm planning on leaving in a couple months. But anyway, I was working all the time. I was working at Texas Roadhouse. That was where I worked at the time, and I still work there now. But I didn't have a lot of days off. So if you guys don't know, Texas Roadhouse is only open at night. So I was like, you could take me to lunch or something. And, he's like, no, he has to work. So I had one day off that week. And funny enough, another guy had asked me on a date. So I scheduled them both in the same day. So I was like, okay, you can take me to lunch and you can take me to dinner. Obviously they didn't know, but Nick was the one that took me to dinner and another guy took me to lunch. And it wasn't like, oh, you're being like a player. Like I just only had one day off and both of these people were like just trying to take me on a date. So I just made it work. I wasn't, being like, Anyway. Oh, here we go. I have pictures of Nick without a beard, and it's actually funny. He looks older. Of course, he just got a beard. We decided for him to try to grow the beard a couple years ago, and the first time it grew out, and it was like, it looked terrible. It was just like ratty looking. Like he just didn't know how to take care of it. So we shaved it off and we tried again, and he shaved it off a couple times since then, but I think he looks younger with the beard. He has a long head, so the beard just works for him. But yeah, most of our relationship was Nick without a beard. Nick, when I met him, he was just like, he just did like a 2 shave, like all the way across and shaved his face. Like he was just like a easy, low maintenance guy. Now he's got like gel he puts in his hair and beard oil and a brush and, but yeah, maybe one day we'll share some of those pictures. You probably won't even recognize them. I'm getting some maternity pictures next month, and then obviously we'll do some pictures. I have to wait a little bit though, because I only like to do family pictures with my dogs, and it's a lot of work doing 2 dogs, and then we're gonna have a baby. So I'm gonna have to figure this out before we get some all together, but we'll see. Definitely gonna do that. My photographer is amazing. She's like part of the family at this point. So, and then, anyway, so going back to our story. So I have one day off and Nick takes me out. So the first guy takes me out to Applebee's, but it was fine. It was a good date. Got along well, but he was a quiet guy. And then that night, Nick ended up taking me out. He wanted to take me to get sushi. Well, I'd never had sushi before, then. So I'm like, okay, at this point in my life, I'm still a chicken tender eater. So, okay, here we go. I let him take me out. This is when I pulled up to his house. And when I told you guys in Hizzy's live stream or Nick's live stream, like my first thought was, this guy is short. Like, I don't remember him being short, a couple weeks ago when I met him. But he just had walked out of his house and I'm like, oh God, this guy is short. But that didn't stop me. Obviously, I still went on a date with him because I'm not that shallow. Geez. And so he takes me out to sushi and I absolutely hate it. Like, it's so gross. I'm just not there yet. I'm not ready for it. So I don't really eat much, but we talk and he's funny. Like, obviously, he's funny. And then he's like, do you want me to take you to McDonald's? Because I didn't eat anything on the date. So I don't remember if we went to McDonald's or not. Probably. And then we ended up going back to his house and hanging out. So out of the whole day, obviously I spent more time with Nick because I like people that can make me laugh, and he had a personality, and nothing like mattered after I got to know him, I guess. So we hung out and he kissed me. That was the first time he kissed me that night. And after that, I went home and I told my friend, she's like asking me how the dates went. I'm like, well, I'm probably not going to see the first one again because I just didn't really click. But the second one, he had a good personality and we kissed. He kissed me. So that shows like, a little bit of like, that's the second time at this point he'd shown me like he's interested, I guess, like ready to just what the other guy didn't have. So after that, it was hanging out all the time, dates. I would bring my friends over. He'd bring his friends over. We'd hang out, just getting to know each other. And so when I met him, it was actually April 20th. I just remember because 420 is a big deal when you're 18. So, and then 1 month later, we actually started dating. So May 20th, 2013, was my last day of high school. We started dating. And it was good. Like, we just really liked each other. We enjoyed spending time together. And it was fun. We were just hanging out. And then like a week later, I went to graduate high school, and he tried to break up with me on the day of my graduation. Like, no reason whatsoever, just like trying to break up with me. And I remember being like, no, you're not breaking up with me. It's my graduation. Like, this is about me. Like, you can just hold on to that for another day or so. And I made I made him come and everything to my graduation, but looking back now, I'm like, this guy was probably like starting to like actually like me and was like freaking out because that's just how he is now, like panic mode. But it was so me to be like, no, you're not like breaking up with me. Like that's just not happening. So that was that. And then the next day, obviously didn't bring it back up. I shut it down. So we're hanging out all summer. We're hanging out. He's living at his dad's house. So I get to know his dad really well. And we're just like hanging out. And then stuff kind of gets real after that. So I just feel like I need to address this because most of my comments are Nick's height. And Nick is not 4 feet, but he's also not 9 feet. So I'll leave it there. But thanks, honey. Yes, Nick tried to break up with me on my day of high school graduation, and I told him no. So anyway, so at this time, Nick and I are just hanging out, doing fun stuff all summer, drinking, doing what, like I said, doing what people that he was 21 at the time, I was 18. So just doing what people do. It wasn't until halfway through college that I realized, or halfway through summer, that I was like, oh, I'm actually not going to go away to college because I am not going to take $100,000 out of debt. So I decided not to do that. And I went to a local university instead, same degree, just 1/4 of the price. And it kind of worked out because I was really starting to like Nick. We probably had already said I love you at this point because that's what you do when you're 18. And I know we did actually. So we decided to, I don't want to share too much personal information of Nick, but we started to go through like a personal stuff. And so come around, both of our birthdays are in October. We're celebrating our birthdays and Nick's going through something. And whatever, I'll just say he decides to get clean. So we're going through that journey together, and it's hard. I don't really understand it. I guess you don't really understand that kind of thing at 18 if you've never experienced it. Okay, he said they know him in recovery. I wasn't sure. I don't want to share his personal information, but yeah. So Nick decides to get clean. I'm 18. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you're not gonna drink? Like, I don't know. I can't commit to like doing that too. I'm not even 21 yet, but whatever you're gonna do, that's cool. So that happens. And then, so that's really hard, obviously, if you know anyone that's in recovery. And so that's hard on him. He's struggling every single day and I don't even know it. And then 1 month later, almost to the day, my mom dies in a drunk driving accident. She's the passenger in a drunk driving accident. I'm 19 years old, so I'm the oldest of all of my siblings. So my mom had 5 girls, so it's just, as you can imagine, and she was a single mom. So just like one of the life-shattering things. And I'm sure Nick still remembers it to this day, like just how basically the world stops. And he's trying to be there for me and I'm trying to be there for him. And it's pretty much what you're, when you're in your first 6 months of a relationship, it's like all cotton candy and butterflies. And you're just like, that's not what we experienced. Like, we had maybe a couple months of that. And then it was just like, you're getting hit with 2 life-changing things that are like so hard. And somehow we just stay together. Like, I remember, he was obviously there for me, like putting all his stuff aside because in that moment, I think when you love someone, you're not worrying about what you're going through, but he is, he's there for me. And like the months just go by. And I remember saying to him, like, if you want out now, do it, because my life is not getting any easier. Like you pretty much like don't know what's going to happen. Like who's taking care of who. Like I'm my mom's, closest living kin. So all of a sudden I'm like doing all this stuff. I have to take care of everything. My grandmother ended up raising, my single grandmother ended up raising my two middle sisters. Me and my older sister, Alexi, the one you guys met last time, we kind of just stayed at people's houses until we, figured our life out. And he was like, no, I'm going to stay. And I just remember, I don't really remember obviously a lot. And just like, it was just like a blur. Life was just a blur until probably like 6 months after that. So we hit a year and it's like, wow, this is amazing. We hit a year together, but it was rough. So just like having that like traumatic experience in our first year was, I think, like, pain like binds people or brings them together or keeps them together. Maybe we were just like, we have no idea if we would have broken up had this stuff not happened, because it's just like, yeah, we're, something like this, were we meant to be together, or were we just together and we just didn't break up, or something like that. But we, stay together, and, we just stick together. So we're still together, obviously. So it worked out. But, that first year, I'm still like up and down trying to find, a place to stay. I ended up staying with Nick for like maybe a month. His dad had an extra bedroom and they let me stay there. But we didn't consider living together. My mom always taught me, like, my family, like, don't move in with someone just because, like, wait till you're ready. So we didn't really want to move in together because it would be like a forced situation, all your eggs in one basket kind of thing. So I ended up finding a family who was looking for someone to clean their house. They had 2 younger kids and they had a whole basement downstairs that they said my rent would be cleaning their house and I could live there. And I was in college at the time. I remember I just started college. And so they let me stay there, which was like my saving grace, because that was now a place to stay. And he, that helped out. He would come visit me all the time. I would be able to stay at his house. It's back to like kind of like a normal relationship. All right, here we go. And they ended up letting my sisters stay with us, so we would both clean their house. So they really were just good people that were just helping out, me and my sister. And that was also, so we've been together a year now. So now we're in May 2014, and I move in with these people, and they're super sweet. I don't want to say their name. I don't know if that's, I don't like to put people's name out there, but yeah, that's true. Tragedy keeps good relations together and breaks up bad ones. I think that's definitely true. You learn, who you have close to you when you go through something rough. And I think back many times and I'm like, if I had to like find someone else and like explain that whole thing, like that whole like heartbreak that I experienced, like, oh my God, I don't even know if I could even, like, he was there, he saw it, he experienced it with me, like that person like held me when I cried. Like, how do you can't go through that with someone else. You can't share that with someone else. So I don't know. That's just the first 6 months. So I'm living with this family, and then I am going through obviously like so much, really struggling with religion, because I grew up very religious, struggling like basically why would this happen to me, struggling with family, like realizing who's there for you. Like my mom was dead broke. Like I probably already shared this with you guys. Like I'm trailer trash. Like I didn't like get anything from my mom dying except like Redbox kept sending me bills because her Redbox was overdue. And I'm like, she's dead. You're not getting that money. Like, I got nothing but a headache from dealing with those finances. So, but people think that when people die, you get money or something. Like, no, that's not the case. So it was just a hard thing to go for. And I'm trying to get to a really exciting part. So then, we're finally, life's starting to get normal, summer of 2014. Then Nick goes out and buys me a dog. He buys me a dog for himself, but he gifts it to me because his dad tells him he can't have a dog at his house. And where I'm living, they have a yellow lab and a little Frenchie. And they said, oh yeah, you can get a dog as long as you take care of it, blah, blah, blah. Again, these people are like angels on earth. So he gets me this dog. I say, go get one from the shelter. Like, I grew up, my mom took in stray people and stray dogs. Like, I have friends that have lived with me. My sisters have friends that have lived with us. Like, she just took that in. And then there was like a stray animal on the street, she'd just take them in. We had like so many dogs. And so he's like, no, he grows up with a golden retriever in his family who's like, just, got his heart. And so that's what we get. We actually end up looking in like the local paper, and we find an elder man that has cancer, just found out he has cancer again. And he can't take care of this golden anymore. He just got him because his other golden passed away. So he just forgot what having a puppy was like. So Nick's like, got me driving all over the place. Look, this guy actually was right down the street from me to find this dog. So I'm like, fine, I'll go check it out. So I go over here. I meet this dog that's 6 months old. And as soon as I meet this dog, he has a red rocket and he's like jumping all over the place. And I'm like, Nick, this dog is literally crazy. It's obviously a golden retriever. And the old man like just trying to hold on to him. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy is like, you can tell he's just overwhelmed. Like, he took this puppy on not knowing. And I'm like, of course we have to take him. So I send him the picture and I'm like, all right, fine, we'll get him. So I tell the man I'm going to come back with my boyfriend, and, we'll probably end up taking him. So we wait for Nick to get off work and we come back and the guy is like, I don't remember if he said you can just have him or if he just gave us a price so low. We were just like, this is like, you can tell that this dog is a purebred golden retriever. I mean, I didn't know much then about golden retrievers, but I'm just like, well, we had, I think Nick had $375 on him, $375. And we're just like, take it all. Like, just take the money. Like, I know you probably spent probably $1,000 on the dog. And I'm just like, we're just going to take the dog. So we get him and he's just feeding him this Tupperware container of dog food. And like, there's just no rhyme or reason. Like, it's just chaos. This poor old man. So technically Leo was a rehome. We only paid $375 for this dog. And truly, like, one of the best things that's ever happened to me is getting this dog, because I'm like, you got me this dog and I don't even, like, I'm taking care of it. Like, it's our dog, but I'm the one that, am with him all the time. Like, he's at my house. So I would make Nick come over every morning, and he didn't live close. He lived like 20 minutes. I guess that is close. When you live in like a rural area, 20 minutes is far. But now that we live in Florida, 20 minutes is what it takes me to get to work. So back then it was 20 minutes was a far drive, and I make him come over every morning and he'd walk him and he'd let him out. And every night he'd have to walk him and let him out. And I just made him like come over and participate, because I'm like, you're not getting me a dog and then leaving me. Like, you just want the good times and you don't want to take care of him. So, but quickly you can see that like I became a softie, and that is my dog. He's literally the best thing that's ever happened to me. I have a picture. These are my dogs. The red ring. That's Leo. Leo he's just turned 7 in March. And he is just the most perfect dog ever. But I just had to share that because that's just an important part. So he's amazing. So then So we're still living together at this point. I've only lived with these people for not even a year yet, and they get the news that they are being relocated to Hawaii for a job. Hawaii. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, these people are like, they changed my life. They made it like, they gave me and my sister a place to stay. Like, I can't, So obviously they're like, you can come with us. And that's hard. I'm like, I'm in college. I'm, with this guy that's, it's kind of serious. A year and a half. You think that's serious back then. And I'm like, we consider it like, I could just go to Hawaii. They don't plan on, like, they're not staying there forever. And they're just going for like a couple years and then they're going to come back home. So they're like not selling their house. They offered to rent it out to me if I didn't want to go. I would have to get roommates though, because it's like a big house. And Nick just did not like that idea, like any idea of it. He didn't want me to have roommates. He didn't want me to go to Hawaii. And it was just, it just wasn't happening. So this is like the only situation where I feel like Nick would have gotten out of his dad's house, because it was just, it's just his dad. It's just him and his dad. It's a good situation. His dad works all the time. Just, guy pad. And so he's like, well, we're going to get a place. Like, it's time, And so his brother is moving out of this house that he's renting, and the renters, his brother Matt's been living with him for a long time. So he's like, you can live here too. We'll just literally transfer he doesn't care as long as you're responsible. Like your brother will, it'll work out. So like literally the day his brother moves out, we move in. It's like December 28th. So December 28th, 2014, something like that. I just, we just celebrated his year anniversary of being clean. We just celebrated, not celebrated, but we just experienced the year of my mom passing. So just like a lot of stuff going on. And now we're moving out on top of that. And it just seems like it's just always go, go, go. So we move in together. We have nothing. I think Matt, his brother, left behind one of their grandmother's couches for us. And his dad lets us take his bedroom furniture. So we have like a decent clean bed and, but I remember us wanting to have friends over for New Year's Eve, and we had no furniture. And I was like, well, if we have people coming over, we have to get a couch. So we like moved everything in like the day after his brother moved out. And we had to go buy furniture because for some reason we invited people over and we had nothing for them to sit on. So long story short, we still have those couches, but we ended up getting furniture. And, us living together, we call it the Roosevelt house. And the Roosevelt house was just like, it was for me the first time I felt like I had a home and, like a while, because I just felt like those people like took care of me, but I wasn't my home. That wasn't my family. It was, you were just grateful trying to, make ends meet. So I felt grateful that I had a place to stay. He felt good for, getting out of his dad's house and doing something, for himself. So I think it was our first home together. And it was really like the next step in our relationship. And it felt really nice. And, I was still in school and Nick was in school too. So basically when I started school in college that year before, I kept leaving the application up for college for Nick because he wasn't doing anything. And his dad had money set aside for him to go to college. So I'm like, you should just go take a couple classes, see how you like it. And I would just keep leaving the college application up on his laptop because he would go on his laptop and mess around. And he never told me, but somewhere in that, me doing that, he actually applied and got in to the same college that I went to. And so he started school. So he started college. He was only a year behind me. So He's now living on his own. He's got a year recovery. He's starting school. He's doing the most that he's probably ever done on his own in his life. And so it just meant two different things for each of us. But here we are. And so we're doing that, and we're living together, and it's working out fine. Like, we obviously are going through a lot of stuff that couples go through when they live together. I remember like fighting about doing chores and dishes, and like that being like such a big problem. Like us like wanting to go to therapy, couples counseling, because we can't figure out who's doing the dishes. It's still a problem now, but Nick just does them now. He just knows dishes are on him. But I look back, and it was so simple, and it was so fun, like just having that experience together. And we just went through a lot. So also when you are, I'm sure some of you guys can experience this too, when you're living together, and when you're living together, you get fat. Like, you don't have, it's like a free for all. Like, you go to the grocery store and you buy what you want. Like, you don't have like a, like, before Nick's eating what his dad buys, I'm eating what the people that live in the house are buying. They are adults. They buy normal stuff. Here we're like, oh, we buy what we want, and we go out to eat, and we do this. We actually lived across the street from McDonald's, and Nick and I got fat. Like, I mean, if I showed you these pictures of Nick, you would not believe it. Like, we both put on like probably 20 to 30 pounds. And it was just, it's just funny looking back. So we get fat together. That's like a moment, and we get fat together, and then we decide we got to get healthy. Like, one of us is going to have a heart attack. Probably Nick, because he was eating McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm like, we got to get healthy. So for a long time, I've been wanting to join like the CrossFit gym, and we actually lived pretty close to town. So we decided, I was like, let's just do it. Like, let's just sign up. It's, if you didn't know, CrossFit is typically pretty expensive, but his dad offered to help us pay for it because it was both of us, and he knew that his son was getting fat. I feel like that's why. And so then we joined CrossFit, and then we got into fitness together. So we're working out, we're eating healthy, and we lose weight together, and we're doing good. We're going strong for like 2 years, and it's a good time. And it was fun. We loved CrossFit. I think CrossFit has a great community. Like, we had tried going, for me personally, I tried to go to the gym so many times. Like, I played a lot of sports growing up. So when I graduated high school and, sports aren't a thing anymore, like I started going to the gym, because you got to like stay active somehow, or, I feel like my mind goes crazy if I don't like, am not at least doing something. So, but I never stuck to it. And CrossFit was the hardest, thing I'd ever done. And also, it worked, and it made me stay. It challenged me. It was the only thing that I had ever done in my life, gym wise, that I stuck to and enjoyed it and really grew. And it's what got me into powerlifting. And even now, like, it just taught us, like, Nick and I learned how to be healthy. At this point in my life, I am no longer, a chicken tender eater. Like, I actually eat food that is good for me, and I take the time to, learn and this is where Nick got all his knowledge from, supplements and vitamins, and, getting the things that your body needs to be healthy. And so this was like the foundation of us being like adults, basically. So it was fun, and we learned a lot, but, getting fat humbles you. And I feel like everyone's got to get fat in their life once to appreciate healthy eating and healthy work, working out and taking care of your body. But, so we did that. And then we were riding our bikes to the gym. Like, we were just the epitome of health, in our 20s. So it was fun. And I stuck with it. Nick ended up quitting, but he still got that knowledge and stuff like that. But so halfway through living together, so I want to say we lived in the Roosevelt house for maybe a year and a half. We rented that from the guy, maybe close to 2 years. And his dad offered us an opportunity to remodel a home. So it was bought. He bought it for way under what it's worth. I'm sorry. He paid for what he ordered. He bought the house, and he bought it for more than what it had been worth at that time. And he knew that if he tried to sell it, he would lose money. So he offered us if we completely remodeled it and we would live in it for a little bit, we could resell it and pay him back for what he bought the house for. And then we would take whatever we made off of the house. So all of this happening, we say, okay, that's a good opportunity. Plus his dad has helped us so much. Like, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to help him out too. And this is like a girl's dream, like to remodel a house. So I put my little boots on and I just told everyone what to do. But seriously, I have a lot of family that I had an uncle that did contracting, and my dad and his mom's boyfriend does electrical. Like, we pretty much just brought in all the people that we knew that could help us out, and we completely remodeled this house. And we called it the Sunny Meadow house. And I love this house, and it had a huge backyard fenced in for the dogs. So right after we moved into the Roosevelt house, Nick went on one of his tangents, and he was like, I need another dog. And I'm like, you don't help me with this one. You want another one? And I was like, I don't think we should get another dog. So long story short, the next day we had another golden retriever who in my head was also considered a rehome because she had papers, but we never got the papers. Obviously, we don't care about that. But she was like 4 months old, which if you know anything about like getting dogs, the older that they get, the less valuable that they are, basically. So either this family took her in and didn't want her anymore because she was crazy, or just a sketchy situation. So we took her in, and that was our dog Ani, who was that was Nick's dog. Like, she was just the sweetest little girl. And those were our angels for forever. And so now we have 2 dogs together and a cat. Don't even ask about the cat. Somehow we adopted a cat, and he was just part of the family. So we went from, real quick, a family of 5, and it was just, anyway, so back to us. We're remodeling this house, and I'm in school still, and I'm struggling. Like, we're trying to redo this house. Nick's in school still. He starts, we're just like trying to we're just going through life again. So we finally remodeled the Sunny Meadow house, and this house, we're not renting this house. Now we own this house. So another step in our relationship. And we stay there. We stay in that house until we move to Florida. So in this house, we kind of grow. Like, I graduate college, I enroll, he graduates college, then I go back and I get my master's degree in the same house, and Nick starts his job. So before, he was just working as like a car dealer, a car detailer, and I'm still working at Texas Roadhouse, and he decides to just go and try to get a job in the field that he wants to work in. So in recovery. And he does it, and he gets the job, and he's like absolutely fantastic at it. He's amazing at the job, and he's good at it, and he likes it. So he's kind of transitioning to that. I'm doing what I'm doing, and we're really kind of getting into our groove of things. Our cat Ralphie passes away in this Sunny Meadow house, and we I'm like, no more cats. Cause this was like the first pet I've ever lost. And Ralphie was a very skittish cat. We adopted him from the SPCA, and he just really like, in the Roosevelt house, he had a place he could hide. We had a spare bedroom that was all his. But in the new Sunny Meadow house, it was more open floor plan. So he didn't have a place he could hide. And he was not having it. He just didn't like that place. And something bit him, and he actually passed away in our bathtub. He wasn't up to date on his shots, because back then I didn't know, oh, house cats need to be updated on shots like your dogs do. I didn't know that. So, now we know. But I was away on a work trip, and Nick's like, my friend just found this cat outside and he needs a place to go. And I'm like, no, we just lost Ralphie. I don't know if I can have another cat. Like, it's just too much right now. And I come home and we have a cat. And I'm just like, okay, what am I going to do? The cat's been here longer than I have at this point. So we have a new stray. His name is Mac. And he is a great cat. He is not like Ralph. He's not skittish. He's kind of a thug. Like, he goes in and out of the house. And we keep Mac updated on his shots, because, not going through that again. And we were just living our best life. Like, he's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. And while we were living in the Roosevelt house, or the Sunny Meadow house, my sister, who you guys met on my last live stream, Lexi, she moves to Florida with my best friend, Chelsea. They move in together. Chelsea already lives there, into Jacksonville, which I just saw someone comment from Jacksonville. And they living in Jacksonville. So right now you have like two halves of my heart in Jacksonville. And I'm just like, my heart is just weighing on Jacksonville, like the whole, not Jacksonville in general, but Florida. Like, that's where my sister's at. That's where my best friend's at. And, my mom passed away. I'm not that close with my dad at this time in my life. Like, I want to go, I want to leave. I want to go to Florida. Plus, I feel like everybody in some point in their lives have a feeling of like just wanting to go somewhere else. You just want to try to live somewhere else. And I always said I can't go anywhere because I'm in school. Well, I was about to graduate. So that was kind of coming to the end. We had almost been living in Roosevelt or Sunny Meadow for 2 years now. And so we would be able to resell the house and actually probably make a profit. So I started looking into, so I had to intern, because I went, so my master's degree is in school counseling, K through 12. So I had to obviously do an internship, and it was very competitive, the field for school counseling in Delaware, because Delaware is a very small state. It only has 3 counties, not that many school districts. And, that's people's homes, meaning they get into that career, they become a school counselor, and they don't leave until they're retired. Like, that is a job people have for a very long time. So I just felt like, unless I know someone, an older lady that's getting ready to retire, I'm going to have a hard time finding a job. Not to mention, all these 50 people that are in my class right now, or 100 people all graduating at the same, like, are we all going for the same job? Like, you kind of feel the competitiveness in this area. And I know that it's not like that everywhere. So I decided to look into long distance internships, which at the time my school didn't offer, but I was just going to bring it to the table. And basically what I just told you is my argument for why I would bring it to the table. So I brought it to the table, and the chairperson of my program denied me, but the assistant chairperson thought it was a great idea and advocated for me. She ended up becoming the chairperson. So you see how this is like literally just falling into place for me. The chairperson ends up leaving all in the time that I'm in school, and she ends up becoming the chairperson and approves it, because now she's the main woman in charge. And I had a really good relationship with her. She was my teacher. That's why I had a good relationship with her. So she approves me to do a long distance internship in Florida. Now, obviously Nick is not about this. Like any kind of change, no. Mm-mm. No, it just denies it. It's not happening. No, you're not moving to Florida. No, I'm not going with you. No, why would I leave? I'm happy here. Why would I leave? My family's here. Like all the reasons why not to leave, which are my reasons. Like, why not? So, like, let's just try it. Like, we're young. We have no kids. Like, your job, you could find that job anywhere. I'm fresh. I can find this job anywhere. So, I do a long distance internship. I pick all the places. I look around. I decide that Jacksonville's too cold. Yeah, I'm being picky. It's too cold in the winter. And if you go further south, then you're in Orlando, which I didn't want to be in because the only thing over there is Disney World. No offense to people that live in Orlando, just not my style. And then you have Miami, which I don't want to live in Miami. So we went to the other side. I don't think it's a surprise we live on the West Coast. And I basically just sent my little resume out to all these schools saying, I am in college and I have to do an internship. And does anyone want to take me? And if you don't know, this certain county that I worked for, they struggled. Like the ratio would be like 1,000 kids per one school counselor, which is not what it should be. Now it's changed where it should be 300 to 1. And it was a hot mess, but there was jobs available. People, it's like a revolving door in Florida in this area. Like people live here for a couple of years and then they leave. So the jobs are continuously opening up. So sorry, one of the comments just threw me off. So we do that and someone takes me. I'm like, okay. So my chairperson works it out and I have a job now. That was my first priority. My second priority was an actual job, one that I can make money at because I don't want to even get into the internship, not getting paid. But I find the closest Texas Roadhouse, because at this point I've been working for Texas Roadhouse for like 5 or 6 years. It's worked with my schedule. It's gotten me through college. Texas Roadhouse helped pay for my mom's funeral. Like Texas Roadhouse has just supported me. It's, I met my best friends there. Mentorship, like a little job I took as a host became so much bigger to me. And it was just, sorry, I'm going to go back to this comment. There are parts of Florida that are cold in the winter. Yes. Jacksonville, when I visited there a couple years ago in December, it had flurries. And I was just freezing the entire time. And I'm just like, Jacksonville is still an awesome city to go to. And Jacksonville people love their city. And they will, that is just, a whole thing. But where I live now, it doesn't really get that cold. It gets cold to me, but I know realistically it's not cold, if that makes sense. But yes, that was too cold for me. I had to go further south. And so that's my story. But so I forgot what I was saying. But I'm working working at Texas Roadhouse. Oh, I was talking about my job with the company Texas Roadhouse. Just an amazing company to work for. I still work for Texas Roadhouse to this day. I'm 9 years now, and I just love working for them. But I got my job now. I've got my internship. I just need my man to come with me, and I'm just like, you want to come? You gotta come. You gotta come because I'm graduating soon, so you got to choose. So it's like January, February where I'm getting this all figured out. March, it's figured out. April, it's still getting figured out. Finally, April, it gets figured out. And I'm like, I am 100% moving to Florida, and I would really like for you to come. And I don't want to choose between someone that I love and I've been with forever and someone I've been with forever and, a dream at this point, because I'm getting ready to do an internship so I can try this internship out. And if I don't do good or if it fails, I'll just come back home. It's just like a trial and an error. And he's like, no, it's just causing so much conflict in our relationship. It's just like a hard thing to deal with. And we're both going through it. Finally, in May, like after a month of it just being, like hard, he like caves in or something. I don't know. And he's like, I'll go. I'm like, you will? Really? And he's like, yeah. And mind you, I have to leave and like, I got to leave soon. So this is like the end of May, he tells us. So I'm reaching out. I'm trying to find a realtor. I got to get the house on the market. Like I have to basically get there. So you're in your mind, you're thinking I have to get there by August because that's when the school year starts. That's when I start my internship. And he waited till the end of May to say, yeah, I'm going to go to Florida. So I find a realtor. She's really great in the area and she sells our house in like less than a month. Thank God. Well, we sell our house and it's contingent on this man selling his house. So now she's trying to sell his house too. So we're like, in between phase and we're like kind of freaking out. But the house is basically sold and we need to go down and find us a place to live. And the realtors in the Florida area are very comfortable. Most of them are very comfortable helping out-of-state people. They do it all the time. So it wasn't new to them. I'm messaging a realtor and finally I'm like, we can come down the weekend of 4th of July. And she's like, well, I'm on vacation then. I'm like, can you please like work with us because it's hard for us to get off of work. Like we have so much going on in the middle of our selling our house. Like, can you please just find us 1 or 2 days where you can help us find a place to live? So she agrees, thank God, because I know how hard it is for, a mom to be like, I got to take 2 days to help this family, on the 4th of July weekend. So we come down there. We asked his dad to come because his dad is just smart and he's an adult and he can help us make these decisions. So, we're interested in renting or buying. We don't really know the area that we want to buy in yet. So we were like, we want to rent. So we go down there and we are looking around and I don't like any of these houses. I'm trying to find something near the school that I'm going to work at. And I'm just like, it's stressful. And she's like, well, I have this new neighborhood that is over the bridge, which is farther away from what you wanted, but it's brand new construction and it's affordable. And we're like, at this point, we're just tired. Like, just show us this place. I mean, some of these houses had termites. They were old. They didn't have a yard. Remember, I have 2 dogs and a cat at this point. And, we're not being picky, but we just came from this house that is like perfect. We made it fit to us and it's got a ginormous yard. It's fenced in. It's just, going from Delaware to Florida, you're downsizing your yard, your space more than what we were used to. So we're just, not picky, but like we're being a little picky. And so, she shows us the house and the house is perfect. It's a perfect starter house. It's very modern. I have very modern style. I like things clean. I like things organized. When she tried to tell me Florida houses get termites, I was like, not mine. I'm not doing that. We're not taking out on a house that has termites. I understand that that's maybe more common here, but I'm not taking a house that has termites. Like, you will not sell me that right now. So this one was brand new. There was no termites, but she said the traffic is going to be rough. So I'm driving into the city for work and I have to go over this little bridge that everyone's trying to go over. And she was like, it's going to make you want to jump off the bridge. And she was right. Absolutely. But for the deal that we got for the house and the money that we made from the other house, it was a sure deal. So we said, okay, if you can find us a house in this neighborhood that'll be ready, July 31st / August 1st, we will buy it. And his father, who is a car salesman, he owns car dealerships, was like, doing all the talk and getting us the goodies and, got us, basically it was like a perfect situation to buy, not like the market right now. So, this is how we came to have our first Florida home. And we came home from July 4th and finished packing up our house, getting rid of everything, and told all our family, had a little going away party, and that's it. So something funny is that I accidentally bought the wrong U-Haul. So I bought literally, guys, we're packing up a 3-bedroom house at this point, okay? Granted, we don't have kids, so we don't have we don't have like that much stuff, but we still have like a lot of stuff. And I buy like literally like the smallest U-Haul possible. And I am like, oh my God, I'm leaving today to go to Florida. What am I going to do? And it's not the smallest one you can get, but it's like that big. When we needed one like that was like that big. So I called the guy and I'm telling him about what I have. And he's like, yeah, this one would be perfect for you. So it was my fault for trusting someone that works at this storage place. And anyway, I'm like freaking out. I don't know what to do. I'm calling around. No one has, from the top of the state to the bottom of the state, which isn't very long, 2 hours. No one can give me a U-Haul. Not today, not tonight, not tomorrow, not yesterday, nothing. So I just have to stick with this U-Haul. So I call my aunt. My family comes over and helps anyway, because that's the kind of family that I have. They'll just come to my house. And luckily she has moved thousands of times. She packs this U-Haul like a Tetris game. Like, I am not even kidding. I think the only thing I left behind was a chair ottoman and a broom. Like, I'm not even kidding. She fit every single thing into that U-Haul, packed my car on the back in like one of the car thing carriers, I don't know, and like packed it so full that I had to leave nothing behind. And I mean, I drove Nick's car. Him and my dad drove the U-Haul, and I was packed like this into the passenger seat or the driver's seat with stuff in the car, where I just had a teeny hole to see my 2 dogs all the way in the back. So that was an experience in itself, but it was fun. And we drove. So from Delaware to Florida, where we live, is about 18 hours. It took us 24, and I drove straight until I got to Orlando, which means I drove without stopping to rest. I mean, obviously I have dogs in the car, so I had to stop every couple hours to let them out, let them stretch their legs so I could shotgun a Red Bull. And we are driving, and Nick's driving in the U-Haul, which is just unbelievably loud. You know, they can't go over certain miles an hour. And finally we hit Orlando, and we're at a McDonald's, and I'm like, Dad, I can't drive anymore. Like, I'm going to die. And I'm in Orlando. Like, I'm an hour and a half away from my house. And my dad, I get in the car. Nick's like, I'll drive. And so I get in the car with my dad, and I'm like literally crying because I can't drive anymore. And I fall asleep on his lap, and my dad's driving the U-Haul for me. So, you know, just like a wholesome story. But, so we get to our house in Florida at 7:30 in the morning, and we're all tired. We've just been driving and packing the car, because I told you the packing the car situation was a stressful event at 8 a.m. And the mattresses, my aunt packed them like she should have. Like she did us a favor. We're in the back of the U-Haul. They were in the back of the U-Haul, guys. The mattresses were in the back. So we had to unpack the U-Haul before we could even go to sleep, just to get the mattress out to lay our head down. Like, because my house is all tile. Like, what am I going to just lay on the tile? I probably could have at that point. So that was just a moment that I will, you know. Anyway, I remember to this day, I stand true to my promise. I will never drive back to Delaware or from Delaware to Florida ever again, unless I'm moving back home, because I will never do that drive again. And I have stuck true to my word. I will fly to Delaware every time. But, you know, we get out. My dad's staying down here. My aunt and my stepmom and my siblings are driving down the next day to help us move everything. You know, our family is more than helpful. They're happy that they have family that live in Florida now and in the, you know, West Coast. And my dad helps us get everything moved in. And it's just, you know, we're just in bliss. Like, we're so happy. And Nick and I were able to save up enough money to, you know, take off a month and actually enjoy Florida. Like, you know, we're going to the beach. We've been in Florida for 3 years now. So this was 3 years ago. It's much, much busier now in the area that we live in. So we were kind of just enjoying the little luxuries of being a Florida resident, you know, going kayaking, taking our dogs out, which, by the way, our dogs are Florida dogs. They love it. Like, before they like to go outside and play, they're Goldens, use their little nose, but now they will just sunbathe all day long, and they're just perfect. And it has been that was one of the best things to ever happen to us moving to Florida. Like the things that we experienced as a couple is just living alone without anybody near us. Like we don't have any family here. It was just us two trying to, do life. And it was humbling and very lonely at times. We just had each other, and that's enough. But you also, I come from a big family where I told you guys this before. Like I was raised by my village, like my aunts. I'm very close to my aunts, very close to my grandmother, who at the time is still raising my two younger sisters. And, not that long ago, we just suffered, the loss of my mom. So my family is still, we were close before then, but losing, someone like that, my aunt's sisters and my grandmother's daughter, like that just makes your family much, much more, hold each other tighter. So especially in a situation sudden like that, I know it's hard to lose someone to, cancer or any kind of terminal illness or anything really. But losing someone instantly, you kind of wonder which one is an easier, and really none of it's easier, but it's like you wake up one day and they're gone. So it's just, that makes people just look at things differently, look at people differently. And so leaving my family was hard, but even harder for something like, because I had experienced, a loss like that. And, so that was really hard, but, we're living in Florida, we're figuring it out. I'm working at two schools, which super hard to do. I'm working at Texas Roadhouse. Nick's finds a new job that he really enjoys. And, we just love it. We're living the good life, and we do that for 2 years. And I think in Nick's head, and I think he's shared this before with me, but it was like when you move to another state for someone, and yes, he probably moved initially for me, but I know that he would agree that it was a good move for him and he's happy he's here. When you move for someone, I think you kind of then commit like this is like something that you guys are going to be together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not that she's the one, but you're probably going to be spending a lot more time with her, because what are you going to break up when you two only know each other down here? It's really not a time to break up. So we start living the retired life. That's what I say. We start golfing, we go to the beach. We don't work that much because I make good money where I work, and it's just, we're just living the good life. But we actually decide to, Nick and I are going through a rough patch, and I go away for work, and when I come back, we just are struggling, and it's hard. And it's one of those moments in a relationship where you either you grow together or you grow apart. And, even though I'm sharing all the good stuff in the relationship, we had a lot of hard stuff. I mean, you have someone that that struggles with addiction, learning how to live life, and someone that I have a lot of childhood trauma, and just life is just hard. And, that's me dealing with it. And we're trying to grow up ourselves, and also, be there for each other. You come into a lot of like issues of like codependency, and you probably have trust issues, and it's just like you're doing all of that while I'm sharing with you, our life story, which is what is on the outside. And it's hard, but it makes you realize, like, when you get through something, you're just like, oh, we've gotten through this. That's another thing that we can be proud of, that we've gotten through. And when you do that, and it's like another notch on your belt, like we've gotten through that. And now to this day, we can say, like, there's so many things that, we've gone through. I can't think of something that would break us up, break us apart or make us want to leave each other, as long as we choose each other, which is what we've done now for 8 years. When something, hard comes along or bad or hurtful or anything like that, we decided that we were going to choose each other and get through it like that. And I think that's, how we have done it. And anyway, so after our 6-year anniversary, we start to finally figure our lives out again. We're coming closer together. We decided, like, we don't want to break up. We want to figure it out. I had just graduated my master's degree because I had to do my internship first. And so we're living our lives, figuring it out, getting closer. And Nick had already had the engagement ring at this time before we started to, have issues and decide we were going to try breaking up. And I say breaking up because it was like a month, if that, of us just being separated. And I'm going to just put this on here because I like it. And this. And we're just going through it. And then, we decide that we want to work it out. Like I said, he already has the engagement ring at this time. I picked it out. We known that we were going to get married. We wanted to get married for a while. And we decide that we were like fighting one day and we were going to take the dogs out, and Nick's just carrying this ring around like randomly. I don't know. I knew that he had the ring because I've seen it, but it's like, and then in my head, I'm like, I'm not even thinking about getting engaged right now. Like, we have so many issues right now. We just need to figure this out, kind of thing. And he's got the ring. So we decide to go out one day. We're just taking the dogs out, and it's just a regular, Monday for us because it was Labor Day, actually. So we were both off of work, and we're fighting, and we were fighting to the point where we're like, go home. We're not even going. We're not taking the dogs out. We're going to go home. So we turn around and we halfway there, and we're like, okay, like, it's not the dog's fault that we're fighting. Like, we just need to go and let the dogs out. Like, I get dog mom guilt where if I don't take my dogs out, I just feel bad. So we turn back around and we go to the place, and we're walking the dogs, and it's just a good time. And, everything melts away. Like, we're just not fighting anymore. We're doing the most us thing possible, where we're just out after a fight, hanging out, acting like it didn't happen, meaning that we forgive each other, we let it go, and we're walking the dogs. And I turn around, and there is my boyfriend, like, asking me to marry him. And I just didn't, like, even though I knew he had the ring, I was just like, I did not expect that. I didn't know. I literally didn't know. When I say I'm like truly surprised, I mean it. And that's a lot coming from someone who has been with someone for 7 years, or 6 or 7 years at this point, 6 years. And I knew he had the ring, and it was just a very happy moment. Obviously, I'm crying. Obviously, I'm saying, yes, I love this guy. I'm figuring out everything with him. I would rather have 1,000 bad days with him than one good day by myself, or with anyone else for that matter. And so a yes is a sure thing. And I still wonder now, like, did he think I would say yes or no? I'm sure he knew I would say yes, but it was just perfect. My husband out in nature and my 2 dogs. I couldn't think of it being a better moment. I mean, he could have taken me to Paris, and it wouldn't have been as special or intimate as that moment of being, raw from having a hard, having a rough patch and getting through it, and then just being there, together with our dogs, just doing what we do. And it was just really great. We knew we wanted to get married soon. So that was September 2nd that Nick proposed to me. And much like most women, I already had my wedding planned in my head. And we decided to make the date for that following May 20th, 2020 on our anniversary. So 5/20/2020, and everything went perfectly. We had it was easy planning. I picked an all-inclusive venue, so everything, because we have no family here, so I wanted, it to be helpful, and our family came down, and everything just flowed very well. We were so excited. We wanted a baby. We had talked about wanting kids. We were ready. Nick just wanted kids before he was 30. I was ready. We were already, I was done college. I was just working. We were just at a good point in our life where we were like, so we wanted to get married first so that I would have the same last name as him. I know you can do that without getting married, but we wanted to do that so that just like a family unit legally, for any purposes. So, as you may know, the big scary COVID hit in you started hearing about it in the early February, March-ish stuff. And I was just not buying into it. I'm just like, okay, I just am ignoring it. I'm just doing what I'm going to do. It's not affecting my life. I really don't care about it. Blah, 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 blah. His mom was actually the one that kept freaking out and is like, well, your wedding is coming up. Your wedding is coming up. And I'm like, I don't even care. I'm not worried about it. My wedding is still going to go on. And yeah. So long story short, all the way up until April, people are just freaking out. That's what most people are doing. I live in Florida. My venue straight up told me, if you want to have your wedding, you can have it. The problem is that my wedding is an out-of-state wedding for everybody but me and Nick. So, my venue was 15 minutes down the road from my house, but for everyone else, they had to travel, and, flights were getting canceled. I was supposed to go to Key West with my great aunts and my grandmother that March, and that was canceled. So just people were freaking out, and no one was able to, some people were willing to travel and some people were just afraid. And I just didn't want that to compromise anyone. So 30 days before my wedding, I canceled it after crying fit, tears, angriness, just throwing a fit. I had my fit, and then we rescheduled the wedding. And like I said, we wanted to have a baby. I'm getting the appointment to get off my birth control, in the next month. I am done. I'm done. I'm ready to be done. And, we've just been wanting to get married for so long at this point. That was our 7th year anniversary that we couldn't get married. And, when May 20th came, the day that was supposed to be our wedding day, it was hard. We celebrating our 7th anniversary, and we even thought about going to the courthouse. Let's just go to the courthouse, get married. This is our day. And the courthouse was closed. We couldn't even legally get married. It was just such a bogus thing at the time, just annoying. But we ended up going to dinner with some family dinner. So my dad and some people who weren't afraid to travel drove down, some flew. We had a couple friends, my sisters came down, my cousin, and we hung out. We went kayaking, we just did stuff out in nature just to ease the pain of us, having to cancel our wedding, which was just sickening even now when I talk about it. So I'm resending out invites. I'm rescheduling my bachelorette party, my bridal shower. I'm just doing all this stuff, and everyone's like, we deserve a wedding. To us, we already know, Nick is who I choose. I'm who he chooses. Our family knows it. At this point, we've been together, our families know each other. They love each other. And it's just we're having this wedding because it's a party. We're partying. We're celebrating that we finally have decided to make public. Yeah, we're not going to break up. All right. So you guys can just come and enjoy yourselves. And, we're doing this thing. We're going to have some babies. It's official, almost we're just making it official. Come have some champagne. Look at me be, in my stylish designer dress. Nick's got a haircut. It's a party. So we're having this thing. I know some people like the smaller weddings. That's on you. I'm party rocking, okay? So, party rocking. We decide to one important detail is that my wedding was a Wednesday wedding, and I love the fact that it was a Wednesday wedding because most weddings are on the weekend, but I work in the restaurant industry, and I wanted people that, to come, and I don't want them to have off. I wanted them to be able to have off and stuff. Anyway, when you have a Wednesday wedding, you get the venue that you want. Because remember, I got engaged in September. I had like 8 months to plan my wedding. Most venues are going to be booked for a Saturday. So I said, I'm going to do a Wednesday wedding because that's my anniversary date anyway. Anyway, I love the fact that I have a Wednesday wedding. I am a weekday person all the way. So, I said, let's look at September. That was the wedding venue said a lot of couples that were getting married in May are deciding to move it to September. And I said, okay. So I look at the day we get engaged, September 2nd, and it's on a Wednesday. Like, what a coincidence. I still get my Wednesday wedding. So I asked them if they have it available. They say yes. So now instead of getting married on our anniversary, getting married 1 year from the day we got engaged, which is still a special day for us. And throughout the summer, my bachelorette party we had in Charleston, South Carolina, it was perfect. Everyone that showed up was, I had an amazing time. My bridal shower was beautiful. I truly enjoyed the process of getting married and planning a wedding. And I got to experience everything that someone gets to experience. And, if I didn't get the day that I wanted, which is hard for someone who's controlling like me, but I got the second best day and I couldn't imagine a better day. The wedding was perfect. We have love bug season here in Florida in May. And I remember when May 20th passed, it was the thick of the love bug season. And one of my friends at work said that you dodged the bullet. You missed love bug season. And I was, in that moment, I was so grateful. I'm like, you're so right. Could you imagine you pay all this money for a beautiful wedding and you just have these bugs just coating the side of the building, where you're trying to get pictures. And hold on, I have to post this. This one said, you are not trailer trash. And you're right. I am trailer treasure. So one man's trash is another man's trailer or treasure. Sorry, bad humor. Anyway, I just heard laugh at my joke. Anyway, our wedding was one of the best days of my life. Everything went absolutely perfect. My hair was beautiful. My makeup was beautiful. My bridesmaids were stunning. Everybody was there that needed to be there, that was supposed to be there. We had over 100 people at our wedding. It was just perfect. It was beautiful. And I still to this day, we haven't even been married a year let out. It's just a dream, it was just such a beautiful day. And, originally our honeymoon was supposed to be in Sardinia. And that is where my great-grandfather is from. So I was super excited to go there. And I was actually not, that was when Italy was still like having issues and you couldn't really go. It was just up in the air. And I had already planned my entire honeymoon once. That was the hardest thing, planning a honeymoon. And then having to literally cancel everything, which I still have thousands of dollars in flight credit just sitting for Norwegian Airlines that says they're now no longer doing international travel. So gotta love that. So we decided that we wanted to get away from everything. We wanted to go out into the country. So we actually did a mini moon. So instead of a honeymoon, we did a mini moon when we took a small trip for a week and we went to Montana, and it was stunning. Like I just, we were used to living in Delaware, which is a flat plain. And now we live in Florida, which is also still pretty flat, And so whenever we go to see, anywhere that has mountains, it's just, it's breathtaking. It's something that we can appreciate. We don't see it all the time. And it was beautiful. It was so stunning. We went hiking a lot. I have an irrational fear of bears and like big cats. And Nick thought it was like a joke or something. I don't know, but I was very afraid there that I was going to get like mauled by a bear, even though we kept looking up like the statistics of being eaten by a bear, and it was very low. I don't know. I just felt very scared that like a panther was going to attack me. So that's the only bad thing that kept happening on our honeymoon. Other than that, we just really got to enjoy the place. And we actually stayed in an Airbnb of this little town that the Airbnb was owned by the mayor. So he was very knowledgeable about the area, and he let us borrow his raft to go whitewater rafting. He let us hang out at his campsite, and he had a black lab that was like so cute, and dog people. So, we were really enjoying that. But that was our honeymoon was beautiful. Our wedding was beautiful. So I do want to share something that I skipped over, because it's hard for me to share, but it is important part of our relationship. So right after Nick and I got engaged, so last September, I don't want to blame Nick for this. This is more my decision. Like we let our dog Ani mate with another golden retriever. My sister Jordan has a male golden named Waffle. And so come September when we got engaged, Ani was pregnant. And I say irresponsibly because I am not a breeder, and I didn't know anything about, like, I just did it. I wasn't educated. I'm still not educated on it. And we did this, and I say this, I admit my mistake, and I have to live with this for the rest of my life. But I loved her so much that we wanted more of her. Like, if that makes sense. That's why we thought, oh, let's breed our dog. Like, we could do what the breeders do. Like, we have a wonderful home. Like, we have the time, the space, like all that. And so we let our dog, we breed her with my sister's dog, who is also a purebred golden. Neither of these dogs have papers, so it's not like an official thing. And it was supposed to be natural. It was supposed to be fine, but something happened to my dog, and she was not living stage 1 of labor. So basically one of the puppies got lodged like on the way out, and it was not much of a day, because I'm very like connected with my dogs. Like I know when something's wrong with them, like the energy is just off or just something's wrong. I did not sleep at all that night. I knew something was wrong with her. It was getting close to her due date anyway. I had looked up everything to look up. I had done all the research on this because I wanted to take care of my dogs. My dog Ani was my number one priority. And so we decided I'm just going to take her to the hospital because something's wrong. So when I get to the hospital at 9 a.m, I realize that's when they tell me, well, first they ask me, what's the priority? The puppies or her? And I'm like, my dog, 100%. I do not care about the puppies. I am not here to make money. I am not here for a profit. I just want my dog to be okay. So that's when they figure out that one of them is, stuck in the birthing canal. And then another one is, starting to decay at this point. So it's causing her great issues. She's not able to go through labor. So they say we need to do an immediate C-section. So emergency C-section. So I'm like, okay, well, this place I am going to bash because I do not like them. They just malpractice. They were very money hungry. They are not in it for the dogs. Like, they're like, well, this is what she needs right now, but I need $1,000 from you. And I'm like, right now? Like, obviously I'm going to pay you money if you save my dog's life, but like, you need it right now. Like, you need me to go get my money? Yes. Like that kind of thing. So I'm like, okay, like, can you at least like start her like C-section thing? And then like, I'll pay you. Like, I'm not trying to, get you. So finally I just go pay them. I put it all on my credit card because who knows what this is going to get, how much I'm going to be, putting out here. So they take her back there, and it's like I don't hear anything, and I'm like on the phone with Nick, and he's at work, and it's just like it's just excruciating, like this experience, because you could just tell that they're not in a good place. Like you can just tell the doctors are not like, it's not upbeat. It's not, nothing is going okay. I guess it's going okay. It's not great. So they're like, okay, we got all the puppies out. You know, she had 12 originally inside of her. 2 of them were dead, like decaying. And then 3 of them, I'm maybe doing math wrong. 3 of them didn't make it. So we had 7 puppies total that made it. And I can hear them screeching. They are just, you know, they are just screeching loud and proud, and I can hear those puppies. And so they're trying to sew my dog back up, and they come out and they're like, we're having a hard time sewing her back up. I'm like, what does that mean? They were like, well, her uterus was just in such bad condition that it's hard for us to, you know, put her back together, basically. And I'm like, okay, like, so what's like, I don't understand. Like, can you put her back together? So they're trying to, and, you know, I guess they're doing the best that they can at the time. And it's just like, you know, Nick finally gets there. It's just hard. And, you know, it's just, it's, anyway, they sew her back up. They're like, do you want to see her? Yeah. So we go back there. All 7 puppies are feeding. So they were able to get some of the mother's milk off of her. And my dog is looking not right. Like, she's just not, she's like out of it. Like, I don't know if it was the drugs or her gums were just dry. Like, she just didn't, that dog looked wrong. Something was wrong with my dog. And it was just, anyway. So we go into the room, we take a deep breath. Okay, you know, she's fine, I guess. Like, she looks okay. They're saying she's okay. And you know, we're thinking that it's going to be fine, basically. And then they come back in and it's not fine. She's losing, she's bleeding now. I guess the suture or whatever came back open. So we need to sew her back up. And it's, oh, but we need more money right now, or we can't do the surgery. And I'm like, right now? Like, can you do this? Like, we're going to pay you your money. We don't want our dog to die. We've been here for hours. Do you think that I'm going to leave? You know, like, you know, it just insensitive, I guess, to our emotions. I need my money right now. So, you know, we give them another $1,000 for this surgery. And it was just, I mean, just like you're crying, you're thinking you're about to lose your dog. Oh, your dog's going to be okay. Your dog's going to be okay. Oh God, another bad news. Something's not right. No, now we're crying again. Like, our heart, you know, is broken. We think we're going to lose our dog. Oh, she's fine. Like, we figured it out. We sewed her back up. So we went through this for 3 different times, y'all. And they're like, you know, they've already gotten $3,000 of our money. Okay. Like, I'm just paying the money. I want my dog to live. And, so we do that, and they're like, we just can't keep doing this. Like, we can't keep sewing her back up because it just keeps breaking or rupturing or something. Like, something's going on. We just can't get it sewed up, like the uterus or something. And they said she died of, the cause was like some kind of shock. Nick probably remembers the exact, you know, terminology they used. And I'm trying not to cry because it's like, you know, like literally one of the hardest things I've ever experienced. And it's just like, I shared earlier that like getting my dogs was like the best thing that's ever happened to us. So, you know, when you lose one in a way that could have been prevented, like, I take responsibility for that. Sorry. Yeah, someone just put in the chat what it was. Shelly. That's our Brenda. They said it was, septic shock. And I didn't leave that vet until midnight. And I'm telling you guys, I got there at 9 a.m. for an emergency appointment. Like, I was there all day long. And I just, like, I came here with my dog and I left with 7 screaming puppies and my heart is broken and and we're out $3,000. Like, I almost want my money back because my dog didn't live. So now I'm out $3,000 and, this place is just, they're what they say to me? They say, well, this is a hospital. This is an ER. We can't keep these puppies here. They're not sick. That's what they say to us. And I'm just like, I am the kind of woman that I will stand up for myself. I will stand up for my husband. I will stand up for anybody. I'll stand up for a stranger. You will not disrespect me and you will not talk to me like that. But I was literally broken to the point now that if I ever go into that place again, I will 100% have something to say. But I lost my dog and to me, which was malpractice of a veterinarian's office, which I will 100% to this day, if anyone wants to know who that company is, I will 100% tell you. I gave you the story as I know it. And, we have found another emergency vet and it's Blue Pearl, which I know they have other places, Blue Pearl. If I had taken my dog to Blue Pearl, my dog would still be alive to this day. I know for a fact because that hospital does not do something that they know they cannot do, which they can do everything because they have hundreds of doctors there. But it's like this ER took on something that they could not handle or is not experienced in or something like that. And, just like the insensitive, like I just lost my dog and not everyone in that office was terrible because, the little girls that work at the front desk, like they're sweet. Like they were, they're sad. They're like, we are so sorry. Like they've been here all day with me, with my dog, and, so they're being nice and they're, understanding. It's really just anyway. So midnight, after being literally kicked out of the office, we go home with 7 puppies, 1 bottle of formula that they've so generously provided to us. Blue Pearl was the place that is amazing. I don't want you guys to think Blue Pearl was the place that's not good. Blue Pearl is amazing. That's where we went for the rest of the time with our puppies. We go home with 7 puppies that are screeching. They send us like 3 papers home, how to care for puppies. These puppies are screeching. They're freezing cold. They're starving. They're probably about to die. Like we don't know what we're doing. We were fully, ready to take care of puppies with the mom. Like it's a natural thing. Like the mother knows what the puppies want. The mother knows what the baby needs. So, and you want me to now try to do this? Like, I'm like, I handle my emotions right then and there. I am crying. I'm mourning. I'm feeling I'm feeling the effects of losing my mom, which is the most traumatic death I've ever experienced. I'm now re-experiencing it with these puppies, with this litter. And it is truly like you just re-traumatize and it's so hard. And we really struggled and I had a heated blanket from when I lived in Delaware and I turned that on and we just did the best we could. And, puppies need to eat really often and you have 7 of them and you have 1 bottle. They need to eat pretty much all the time because by the time you get to the 7th puppy, it's time for the first one to eat again. And if you didn't know this about puppies, they do not, they do not have bowel movements on their own. So you now have to stimulate them to get them to go to the bathroom. And the next day they were like, we strongly suggest you go to your vet. So the next day we go to our vet, and our vet is like, wow, you're lucky that you didn't lose any of these puppies overnight. And I'm so surprised that the vet let you leave like this. We're going to do what we can to help you. So they actually reach out to a clinic that's right down the street that they know women who foster puppies there. So they check out the puppies. They tell us more information. And so we go down to after we make sure the puppies are okay, we pay another vet bill, which is, normal, expected, but now you're adding it up in your head, I'm sure. 7 puppies going to the vet. And then then we go over to the clinic and we meet these angels, these literal angels, women who just can, like my face is still swollen from crying. Like, I haven't even grieved the loss of my dog who, her ashes probably aren't even done yet. She's not even cremated yet, and it's just, they help us. They're like, we'll do whatever we can. We can help you. They give us stuff. They tell us what to do, how to care for the dogs. They show us how to stimulate them. They show us, everything that we need to know to give these dogs a fighting chance. They warn us about the problems that are probably going to happen from these puppies. And three ladies offered to help us foster the 7 puppies. So, we were reaching out to breeders in the area at the time because we had no idea what to do, but all the breeders wanted to do was to buy our litter from us. Like, they didn't want to help us. And I just expected more from the breeders in the area, because in South Florida, there are a lot of golden retrievers breeders. A lot of them are like normal families, good people, but most of them just wanted to buy our litter. We did have one couple that offered to, we still had a lot of people that wanted to, they gave us advice. Like, they weren't like, oh no, we can't help you, and hang up. We were calling everyone for resources. If you know my husband, he's very resourceful. He'll do what he's got to do to get the information. And so my sister, I told you, who I breeded the dog with, she had just lost her job at the time, literally right around the time this happened, and I asked them, she was living in Orlando. I said, can you guys please help us foster? We still need more people. So she offered to help. So then my sister took some of the puppies, and each lady took a puppy, and then we had some of the puppies. So now they're all split up, but there's always 2 together because I heard that's better. And so we're just honestly just cycling these puppies out, and, they're spending most of the days at the clinic, and we're helping, and it's just, we're getting through of it one day at a time. And that's the only thing that, we know how to do. And it was super, super hard. Leo, my dog, the male dog that we had first, you can just feel that, like, he knows, like, he's just not right. It's just like, where is my partner, like my bonded partner that I've been with since I was a year old and she was 4 months old? Like, it's just hard. And we're trying to grieve. And my sister takes extra puppies for us so that we can spend the week trying to grieve our dogs. And it's one of the hardest things I experienced, because it didn't end. It wasn't like, okay, your dog is dead, now it's time to move on. It's like, okay, your dog is dead, now you are in panic mode, now you need to save these puppies. And we didn't want to sell our litter because that was our dog. Like, this is the only connection we have to our dog. And so, we were just cycling these dogs out. These dogs had a lot of health problems. So we were thousands of dollars in credit card debt over these puppies. And, we felt very connected to them. So this was October 28th that we lost our dog and our journey with the puppies began. And on Thanksgiving Day, we got all of the puppies back because we were in the clear zone, if that makes sense. Like, they were a couple weeks old at this point, and we were able to get them all back so we could work on social development with our puppies. Like, we were invested at this point. We have done tons of research. We understand pets and golden retrievers and litters and, things like that. So we get all the puppies back. We have lifelong relationships with this clinic now. We have relationships with these women who helped us. We have a sense of community almost for these puppies. And it's time for us to start looking at a home. We did not advertise the homes of these puppies. And we got connected with them. Like, I became pretty much a stay-at-home puppy mom because it was a full-time job. And I'm very grateful for, again, my job at Texas Roadhouse, who, was 100% there for me and let me take off as much time as I needed. And I was able to just take care of my puppies that I felt very connected to, because, that's how I got through like this whole experience. And all of the puppies went to homes. I still see them. Like, my sister has one. My other sister has one. One of the ladies that helped us foster, she ended up taking my favorite one. We called him Baby Blue. And he was the sickest of the litter. He cost us the most money. We were constantly at Blue Pearl for him. And she was just his guardian angel. And I offered him to her. And she was like, I'm just connected to him. I would be so happy to take him, but I would never ask you. And, what we did is we took our debt and we divided it by how many puppies we had. And we asked them because like I said, these puppies went to my sisters. They went to, my best friend. They went to a coworker. Like, I know where these puppies are at. I get pictures of them. One of them went to Nick's sponsor, who had just lost a golden. Like, these puppies are, I see them all the time, and I can see Ani in their faces. The one that my sister has is a spitting image of Ani. And, I just was very connected but happy to know they all went to good homes. So on Christmas Eve, they were 8 weeks old, and we let them all go to their new homes. And Christmas Eve, we took Ani's ashes when all the puppies left, and we spread them out at a local beach that she loved to go to. We did end up keeping one of the puppies, and her name is Rue. So there was only 3 girls and 4 boys. And we didn't lose a single puppy, which is very rare for having a litter with no mom. Two dumbasses, really. Me and Nick were just dumbasses back then that didn't know anything. And, we are very grateful for that experience. And it was really hard on us, on our relationship. So that's how we spent our freshly engaged honeymoon stage, is experiencing that. But I actually picked the dog that we were going to keep. So originally when we found out Ani was pregnant, we were probably going to keep one. So we would have 3 Goldens, and we were going to keep a boy. But after losing Ani, we decided to keep a girl. And I just remember every day I would wake up and I'd go greet them, which is terrible. I know you shouldn't do that now. I know, getting them excited to see them, but I would be like, good morning. And every day there was one that would just poke her head up first, like before I would even say anything. And I just looked at her eyes, and I felt like such a connection with her. And I was like, that's the one I want. And I know Nick is going to want a boy, but I want a girl. And I was like, this is the one we're keeping. And we had already had them named before we picked the dogs. And we ended up keeping Rue, who is this girl right here. That is Rue with Leo. And she is crazy. She's very loving, just like her mother. And, it's nice to know that I have a piece of my dog with me, but oh my God, what a hard thing to experience. And, even though all the puppies are around me still, I miss my dog. Like, it'll be 2 years coming up, and in October. And it just, I mean, obviously I cried talking about this, and I didn't cry talking about losing my mother. Like, you can see how much that wound is still very much open. And, I'm grateful for my dog Leo, who basically taught these dogs how to be a dog. Like, Leo is just the epitome of, just the epitome of a great dog, and he taught them everything he needed to know. Like, these dogs needed to know. Like, he would growl at them, he'd bark at them, he'd love on them, he'd play with them, and it's just, I'm very excited to, yes, Leo was like a foster dog to them. Like, obviously he's not a female. I think females, like, we looked for a female dog that could nurse them, but they couldn't. So Leo was like the next, we call him Uncle Leo. He was like the next best thing. And I just, like, what an experience. So, we actually took our engagement pictures, which is the cover for this live stream, with Ani in them. So you get to see Ani in that one. And my photographer offered to do another round for free of engagement, just a quick mini session, not like a long session, of another pictures with Rue in them. So we have those pictures as well. And she photoshopped Ani in them, and she did a really good job. So we were able to use both of those pictures for the wedding, because we had our dogs in the wedding, and it was just an experience that is still hard for Nick and I. And, we obviously never want to go through something like that again. And whenever someone talks about breeding their dog, I always like, don't do it. Like, granted, that situation is not something that happens all the time, but unless you are educated and, that is your thing, and you know what to do, and you have a great vet behind you, which I have a great vet now. I continue to go to the clinic because I know that they're knowledgeable. And if I have any question at all, I just call Blue Pearl in my area, and they are just fantastic. They know what to do. They have so many doctors there. If one doctor's like, oh, I've had to do that, I've experienced that, or if, they know how to deal with, with puppies, and they just saved my dog's life so many times. We thought we were going to lose them. So that was, whew. But, now, we're pretty much where we're at now. And, after we got married, we started to have a baby, like, immediately. We had a little bit of issues, not really issues, but I had been on birth control for so long that my body was like, what is happening? This is what you want now? So, long story short, birth control is devil. But we finally found out in February that I was pregnant, the end of February. And because I was tracking everything, we knew when exactly I would be due. And the first due date we got was October 28th, which was Rue's birthday and Ani's passing away date. And that was like, oh my God, like, what? But because we know date of conception, they changed the due date to Halloween, which is like a little bit more fitting for us. Either way, an October baby for 2 Libras is pretty fun. But that's just been our experience. And I'm very excited to have my dogs, Leo and Rue, around my babies. But as you guys know, I'm pregnant and I really have to pee. So if you could give me like 2 minutes, I will be right back. I'm so sorry. I don't know if there's like a way to pause this thing, but I have to go so bad. Oh. Okay, I'm so sorry. It's like painful to hold it. So anyway, we are due in October and we've been wanting a baby for a long time now. As you can tell, you kind of heard from our story. We're very excited. And anytime he's due, we're having a boy. His name is Van Michael Moseder. He has the same middle name as Leo and Nick, so a little family name there. And so you guys have been asking about our pet names, but last October, after a year, oh my God, could you guys like hear me pee or something? I don't know. Why did you say that, Nick? Okay, anyway. Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. Get it all out in the open now, huh? Anyway, last October, sorry, I am not trying to be out of order, but you guys know how it is. We got a cat out of nowhere because Mac, our old cat back when we had in Sunny Meadow, was not able to travel the 24-hour commute with us. So thank you for the pro streamer tip. I did not know. Now we know. And my Nick's mom's boyfriend rehomed him and took him, and they are just like peanut butter and jelly match made in heaven. So that really worked out for Mac. But when we came here, we were like, no, we don't need a cat. But then something came over us and we went to this cat shelter and we were just like, let's just go look at the cats. Like both of us are like lying to ourselves. Like, yeah, let's just go look at them. We're not going to get one. And then literally we get there and Nick is like, this is the one I want. And I'm just like, this is the one you want? I thought you didn't want a cat. His name was Steve. That was his name. And you guys know our cat now. His name is Hugh, just like Rue. And long story short, Steve came home with us and immediately fit in with the dogs. He is just a great addition. He's a crazy little... I think Nick got on there. I'm so sorry. I think Nick got on and added some moderators. I'm just trying to block the people and get them out. But I'm so sorry about them. And anyway, so we have Hugh. And so we have Hugh, Rue, and Leo. Those are the pets that we currently have. We have 2 Goldens and then an adopted kitty cat who is just turned 1 in May. And now we have our baby boy that's going to be due. He is due Halloween, but we will be happy if he comes early. I would like him to come early. And I would like him to come early because I want an October baby. I think it would be fun. I think it would be fun to have a baby born in October since we're both born in October. Also, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. And I want to have my life together at some point so that I can still host Thanksgiving, because the closer in November he comes, the closer it's to Thanksgiving. And I know that's just a silly thing, but I'm controlling, so whatever. But I would share some pictures. I was trying to see if I have any near me of me and Nick at the wedding. I am a picture person. I have tons of pictures everywhere, but I don't have any like close by of our wedding day. So I think I'll definitely share those with you guys. You seem interested. And like I said, my wedding was absolutely beautiful. One of the most beautiful days I've ever experienced, most beautiful weddings I've ever experienced. And I will also share, I'm going to post my registry and my links, and we have a PO box. And So if you guys, you don't have to get me anything, but people just put it on there. So, like to share that with you guys. And yeah. Perfecting my Thanksgiving. So the annual Mo Cedar Thanksgiving, I invite all of my siblings over, and it is like my favorite. Seriously, it's my favorite holiday. I think it's because I love being grateful, and I like sharing things I'm grateful for. And you know, each year, me and my brother-in-law, we both work at Texas Roadhouse. He is married to my sister Lexi that live in Alabama, and we put a lot of work into it. Like that's our day. That's our holiday that we all get together. We make sure we all come together. My siblings are all invited. More people are invited, but it's typically just been our siblings, and it's just a good time, like who doesn't love spending time with family? And this will be our first year that we'll have our son with us. So we're really excited about that. And, if you guys are, still here and I'm still here, then we'll be able to share that with you guys as well. But I don't know. This was just a fun thing to share with you guys, like my relationship, like how Nick and I met back in 2013 to where we are now. Every relationship has their own story, but you can see how much we've grown and, what we've been through and how we just continue to just choose each other. And like someone said earlier, pain or these hard situations can either, put people together or break them apart. And as many times as it's come to Nick and I, deciding that this is just too hard, we decided we would always end up choosing each other or choose us instead of, I'm not choosing me, he's not choosing him, we're choosing us. And we have, we are excited for this, next chapter in our life. We've been waiting for it and excited for it and ready for it. And I know it won't be easy, but whenever I think about, I'm getting ready to get off, so I just want to share some final information. Like whenever I think about parenthood or motherhood, I think it's going to be fun. Like I don't mean to be like naive. Like I know it's not going to be easy. My mom was a single mom, and when I was in high school, she had an infant, and my mom worked nights. So who do you think raised that infant while I was in high school? I like barely slept and bottle feeding throughout the night because my mom has to work to provide for us. So, I think that's one of the reasons that we waited so long to have children, is because I was raising children for a good part of my life, but also because, we just wanted to experience things, we wanted to do stuff. We traveled a lot. I didn't even share all the places that we've traveled, and there's just so much that I don't want to, I just forget too. Like could have shared a lot of the stuff that we've, done, but, I just think it'll be fun. Like when I think about parenthood or motherhood, the first thing that comes to my head is going to be fun. Like we're going to do stuff. And I'm excited to give my husband a son so he has someone to play at the beach with and the pool with, so I can just lay around and read and suntan, and he can, do that, because I don't be throwing the football, I don't go under the water. I don't like water in my ears. So he'll get off my back and he'll have someone to play with. And yeah, so, but I just want to say thanks to everyone that tuned in. I will do another live stream or story soon. I just been working a lot, so I just do it when I can. But I know you can probably hear my dog like whining out at the door. But thank you guys all for subscribing, for listening, for, joining in on the conversation. I wasn't able to comment back as much. But I really enjoyed, talking to you guys and sharing my story, the goods, the bads, the sad. I'm sorry that, not sorry, but, I try not to get vulnerable, but it's hard because, that's our life. And, I'm just very grateful to have this outlet to share with you guys. And, you get to know my husband a little bit better. He's more than just all business, but yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys again next time, and thanks for joining in. All right.